Classic Art Readers. Level 4. The Works of Frida Kahlo. Copyright 2023. Seed Learning. All rights reserved. Introduction. Frida Kahlo didn't begin painting until 1925, when she was 18. She started painting while recovering from a bus accident. Kahlo was very badly injured in this tragic accident. Kahlo had to stay in the hospital for several weeks. She also had to wear a full body cast for 3 months. She had many operations throughout her lifetime. As a result of the accident, she lived with pain for the rest of her life. Kahlo had to stay in bed while recovering from the bus accident. She started painting to help time pass. Kahlo's parents encouraged her to paint while she recovered. They gave her brushes and paints to work with. They made her a special easel to paint in bed. They even put a mirror above her bed so she could see her reflection. This is how she was able to paint self-portraits. Over the next 3 decades, Kahlo produced about 200 paintings. Her paintings are well known for their themes of identity, the human body, and death. Early life. Kahlo was born in 1907 at La Casa Azul, the Blue House, in Coyoacán, Mexico. This was Kahlo's home as a child. It was also the place she returned to live and work from 1940 until her death. It opened as the Frida Kahlo Museum in 1958. Kahlo got polio at age 6. This disease damaged one of her legs. It also caused her to walk with a limp after she recovered. Kahlo's father was German and her mother was Mexican. Later in her artistic career, Kahlo explored her identity. She would paint her ancestry, the European and Mexican sides, as opposites. Kahlo had a close relationship with her father. He encouraged her to study. In 1922, Kahlo was accepted into the National Preparatory School in Mexico City. She did very well in school. She was interested in politics, art, and cultural events at this time. While at this school, Kahlo met Diego Rivera. He was a well-known Mexican muralist. He was painting a mural at her school. Kahlo was only 15 when she met Rivera. He was 20 years older. She didn't know then that she would marry him one day. Becoming an artist. One of Kahlo's best-known early paintings is Self-Portrait Wearing a Velvet Dress, from 1926. This painting shows her interest in realism. After the bus accident in 1925, it took Kahlo around 2 years to get well enough to leave her bedroom. By 1927, she was involved again in the artistic and political groups in Mexico City. Kahlo met Diego Rivera again at a party in 1928. He was a famous artist then. Kahlo asked him for an opinion of her art. He was impressed by her work and encouraged her to continue painting. They began a relationship and married in 1929. Kahlo began to wear the traditional Tehuana dress in the 1930s. She became known for this personal style. Her painting, Frida and Diego Rivera from 1931, shows this style of clothing. Kahlo painted this while she was in the United States. She traveled a lot with Rivera for his work. He was often paid to paint murals in different cities. Kahlo had a difficult time while she was in the United States. She went through a few pregnancies that ended too early. Her mother also died during this time. This was when Kahlo created some of her most shocking paintings. They were both realistic and surrealistic. She was expressing her feelings of losing the babies and her mother. Kahlo and Rivera returned to Mexico in 1933. They moved into a house that had two separate spaces connected by a bridge. Kahlo lived and worked on one side of the house, and Rivera lived and worked on the other. Kahlo and Rivera's marriage was always full of ups and downs. They even got divorced and remarried during their life together. Kahlo became friends with André Breton in 1938. He was one of the founders of a movement called Surrealism. Breton described Kahlo as a self-taught surrealist, but Kahlo never considered her work to be surrealism. Career as an artist. In 1939, Kahlo painted one of her most famous artworks, The Two Fridas. This large painting shows Kahlo's two different sides. One is traditional Frida in the Tehuana clothing. This figure is sitting next to a Frida in European-style clothing. Both Fridas show an open heart. The heart in the Mexican Frida is healthy. However, the heart in the European Frida is open and cut. Some say this does not only show two separate personalities, it also shows the pain that Kahlo suffered in life. Kahlo produced a lot of work throughout the 1940s. She painted many self-portraits with different hairstyles, clothing, and images or symbols. She always painted herself with the same stoic gaze. She even became famous for this. Kahlo painted 55 self-portraits during her career. She said, "I paint myself because I am so often alone, and because I am the subject I know best." Kahlo had many operations in the late 1940s and early 1950s. In one of her last self-portraits, she painted herself sitting in a wheelchair with a picture of her doctor. Kahlo's poor health caused her to attend her first solo art exhibition in 1953, lying in a bed. The exhibition was a success, and she surprised everyone with her attendance. She died a year later in La Casa Azul. Kahlo had some success as an artist in her lifetime. Then, after her death, her reputation as an artist grew even more. Some people refer to it as Frida Mania. She is perhaps one of the most popular artists of all time.